Well, I don't know. Is there anybody
Давайте
else?
начнем. Давайте сейчас
Oh,
начнем. Я думаю, что кто еще будет присоединиться. Думаю, еще никого больше не будет. Oh,
we have quite a
oh,
few more people.
hi.
Okay, let's see how I can do this so I can see everybody. Let me get to the gallery. Speaker, no, let's go to gallery. There, that's what I want. I want to see everybody. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So let's see, who's going to do the... Mike, would you do the mandala for us?
Sure, good morning. Sashi Poki Jukshin Ne Tok Chon Rirab Shin De Gampadi Sangye Shindu Mikte Owargi Jokun Namdak Shingla Drupar Shok Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Niryatayami.
Lydia, will you do the refuge for us, please, in Russian?
Of course. Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дharме и Санге, пока не достигну просветления, силой добра, которое я творю, даянием и прочим, пусть я достигну просветления во благо каждого живого существа. Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дharме и Санге, пока не достигну просветления, силой добра, которое мы творим, даянием, участием в этом занятии и прочим, пусть мы достигнем просветления во благо каждого живого существа. Я принимаю прибежище в Будде, Дharме и Санге, пока не достигну просветления, силы добра, которые я творю, даянием, участием в этом занятии и прочим, пусть мы достигнем просветления во благо каждого живого существа.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome Mariana. Yeah, I'd like to welcome you to class. And let's see. Oh, okay, so we're going to do some rejoicing. Now, who wants to start? Let me see. We'll start with, make it easy on me, we'll start with Daria. Daria, what do you have to rejoice in today? Nothing to rejoice in?
No, I have a lot of rejoicing, but maybe one day I can live without complaint. I'm happy.
I've never had anybody have so much to rejoice in they can't remember.
Because maybe 5 or 10 times I like criticize or complain sometimes. For me, it's I won.
Okay, well, we'll move along then. Hey, Katrina, what do you have to rejoice in?
Everyone, I rejoice that we have class today. That today is Lama Sarani birthday, and I rejoice that we have the opportunity to solve your anniversary, and how you dance together, and how Mike beautiful play and sing with his friend. I rejoice that everything is okay.
Okay, thank you. I missed all of you too. Okay, next is Lydia.
Hello, everybody. I rejoice that we start ACI 12. It's one of my favorite ACI course. And I rejoice about Holy Lama Sarani and her birthday. She's so young, so long life, and all the best from us.
Well, thank you. She is quite. I married her when she was 2, so. Okay, Svetlana, you're next.
Hello, dear Lama Sumati. I also would like to rejoice in Lama Sarani's birthday and rejoice that we have teachers and we have close contact with our teachers, and you are guiding us and helping us on our path. Also, I'd like to rejoice that I received a gift of books, Liberation in the Palm on Your Hand, in our hands. And I really rejoiced because I was waiting it very long time and wishing about it long time.
Are they in English?
Yes, English by
Yeah.
Pabonko Rinpoche and translated by Ken Rinpoche and
Okay, I'll send you the PDF of that. I've scanned all of it in. It makes it very easy to do the research.
Thank you so
I'll
much.
send that to you. Okay, Anna, you're up next.
Hello everyone, hello dear Lama Sumati. About my rejoicing, I also want to say thank you for opportunity to watch videos from your 15th wedding with dear Lama Sarani. She looks beautiful and you looks beautiful, and you dance very so sweet. I watched it not one time, maybe 3 or 4. So sweet and so pleasant to see people together so many years in so deep relationship. And also, I want to rejoice about my mom. Will be Easter soon in my country. We have a tradition to clean the place where we live and mainly to clean windows. It's big cleaning, yeah. To clean windows, it's very big cleaning. And my mom, I am not ready for this. I just plan to do it. But my mom already washed all windows on her apartments. Yes, and I am so glad that she has so much energy and
Yeah.
wish to do it, and time and strength. So I rejoice about my mom and her windows. Clean, absolutely clean windows.
How can I get her to come over and do my windows?
Sorry?
Wish we could. How can I get her to come over and do my windows?
Oh. Maybe to ask some stuff. I don't know.
Well,
How
we'll
it
do it
works in
virtually.
USA.
Say again?
How it works in USA? How does it work in USA?
Easter?
Easter and Windows, is it
Oh.
connected?
We clean windows whenever they get dirty enough, which according to me is once a year, but according to my wife is more often. This year we did it and it rained about a day later and got them dirty again, but that's the way it goes. But I'm so glad your mom's got the energy to do that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, Mike, you're next.
All right, good morning. I want to rejoice in all of the amazing teachers that are available with this lineage, and that we're starting a new course and getting closer to finishing the 18 courses.
Well, yeah, I'm not looking forward to course 13, but I'll survive. Okay. That's Marina, right? Or Mariana?
Mariana. Yes.
Mariana.
Hi.
I'm not good with names. Okay, so we have a tradition in my classes. We start with rejoicing and set the seeds for good teaching and good things happening in our future, as well as cementing that merit so it can't get destroyed by moments of anger. So what do you have to rejoice in today?
Awesome. That's awesome because I've been extra grumpy for the past 2 days. So it is, thank you for reminding me that I still have to rejoice in something. So besides all those beautiful things that have been said, I also want to rejoice in spring finally arriving where I live in Poland. So I really like the fact that after long winter, finally there is spring and it's getting warmer, and I have this beautiful sunset before me from my window, and it really gives me a wish to be alive again when it's warmer and it's beautiful outside and everything starts blooming, which gives me extra, power to continue with
Sure.
my ACI courses. So thank you
There
for
you
sharing.
go. Are you American or
No,
your
I'm
English is
Ukrainian. Um,
you're Ukrainian? Where'd you learn to speak English so beautifully?
well, all over the place. But I
Oh,
love reading. I'm a nerd, so
I see.
yeah.
Well, thank you for being a nurse and thank you for being so enthusiastic. And yes, spring. Well, it's over 100 degrees most days here in Tucson now. So it's going to be a warm summer. But I'm not complaining. Okay. Shinar, do you have anything to rejoice in?
Um, hello, everyone. Hello, Venerable
Can't hear you.
Sumati. Oh, you can hear me? Hello? Hello?
Still can't hear you.
Yeah, she's translating, so she's in a different channel. She's in English.
Okay, got it. I'm going to go get in that channel. Okay. I think it's okay now. Nope, not hearing her.
No? Hello?
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Hello, Venerable Sumati. Good to see you. And hello, everyone. Good to see you as well. I'm rejoicing. A couple of months ago, I mentioned about another lady who was in a difficult situation, and she didn't had a job and looking for a job. She's here in the U.S., but she wasn't born and raised here, so she was having some difficult times. So she was looking for a job. So I'm rejoicing that I was able to help her to find the job. It is part-time, but small steps. So I'm rejoicing for the opportunity to help her. And I'm doing this. I mean, I would always do that, but studying these teachings enforces me and empowers me to do the good things with a joyful effort. I'm more kinder with these teachings.
Okay. Good.
So I'm rejoicing for that fact.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
rejoice and you're rejoicing that we're rejoicing. Hey, Katrina, who's that in the picture there?
I'm sorry. Was it a
I was
question?
just asking Katrina. There he is. There she is.
That's Maria.
Hi,
She's-
Maria.
She's 10. Hi. Hi.
Hi. You're very beautiful.
Thank you.
You take after your mother.
She learned English, but
Okay.
she's not understanding very well.
Okay, well, have a good day. Okay, Tatiana,
Thank you.
what do you have to rejoice in? Say hi to your mom.
Здравствуйте, дорогой Лама Самати. Всем привет.
Hello,
Я
hello,
тоже очень
Venerable
рада всех
Sumati.
видеть.
Hello.
Лама Самати, я
I'm
не была
happy
на
to see
вашем
everyone.
50-летие совместной жизни.
I wasn't able
Не
to
было
attend the
возможности.
50th anniversary. I didn't
Мои
have an
самые
opportunity.
искренние пожелания вам долгих
And my
лет еще
sincere
дальше.
wishes to live a
Ну и я
long
так
and happy
услышала,
life.
что у вашей жены, у Ламы
Thank
Сары,
you.
рождения.
And I heard
Ей
that
тоже передавайте, пожалуйста,
Lama
привет.
Sarani has a birthday. I'm wishing her a happy
Ну,
birthday.
моя радость. а,
I'm
Это
rejoicing.
12-й курс, для меня 18-й. Я вас благодарю за возможность.
This is my
Вот.
18th course.
15-й я прослушала достаточно детства.
And
У
15th,
меня
I
сейчас как бы
trained
два
with
сложных курса. Я надеюсь, что я в этом году
Gelse.
оба.
And
Oh, okay.
there's two difficult courses for me. I hope I will be able to pass that. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for everything.
Well, you're welcome. And yes, we'll make sure you pass. What was I going to? Oh, it's my turn to rejoice. Well, I got my most recent blood test back, and my blood health is perfect. My glucose is perfect. So I'm pretty happy camper with that. My hematologist is just ecstatic over. I think I'm his favorite patient because I'm the healthy one. But I've been encouraged by one of my students to really look into the possibility of doing something called deep brain stimulation, which is they plant electrodes in my brain that help counter the symptoms of Parkinson's. And so it's invasive. So I'm a little hesitant, but she's encouraging me to look into it in greater detail. So on the 30th of this month, I have an appointment with my neurologist here in the U.S., and I've asked her to give me a little more information on whether deep brain stimulation is appropriate for me. And then the other thing is there's a stem cell research program, clinical trial going on here in Tucson. I was not aware of it, and so did not get a chance to sign up. But my neurologist apparently put me in for the next test if there is one. And I'm going to ask her to give me more information on what that involves. So either one involves going down into my brain, and there's always a risk of a problem from that. But I'm seriously looking into both of them because it might help with my symptoms. You can't make them any worse, I don't think. So. Now, the reason I think I have a shot at the stem cell is my wife and I were involved in the final trial of the Moderna vaccine before it was released to the general public during COVID. So what we did helped millions of people by helping show that the Moderna vaccine was safe. So I'm rejoicing in that, and hopefully that'll have the power necessary to get me in the next trial. I'm a little reluctant to do the deep brain stimulation if I can get into the stem cell, because I don't think if I have deep brain stimulation electrodes, I doubt they'll do the stem cell. So we'll see. But I'm really pleased to have students that are interested in my health. And well, I know you all are interested in my health, but going the extra step and doing a little research. So I appreciate that. Since we have a nurse online, are you a pediatric nurse or old people nurse or? You didn't hear?
No.
Well, okay, class. So let's get started. You should all see the Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life Part 3 on your screen. Yes? Okay. So we're in class 1, the perfection of wisdom, and the other 5 perfections. Svetlana, I'm going to send you a slightly corrected version of this so that most of the typos are out of it. I was having a real problem with my computer. It wouldn't capitalize after the end of a sentence, which seems sort of trivial, but wait till you have to go back and recapitalize all the sentences in something. That gets old pretty quickly, but I think we got it fixed. Okay. So this course covers the chapter 9 on wisdom and some of chapter 10 on dedication. And as I said earlier, I really encourage you to find a copy of the Guide to a Bodhisattva's Way of Life that you like and read it often. I have a particular copy that I like by Stephen Batchelor, one of his first published translations. And I find it to be just very comforting to read parts of it. So I do encourage you to get a copy. It is a great virtue to hear the Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life. It was at this point that Master Three Thoughts started to levitate, and not many that were there even heard the end of the chapter. I don't know if you know the story, but in brief form, he was not popular at the monastery he was in. He was known as Mr. Three Thoughts. Eating, going to the bathroom, I don't remember the third one. Anyway, so they wanted to challenge him and make him feel stupid, so they asked him to teach. And so he taught the Guide to Bodhisattva's Way of Life. And at a certain point, they made the throne for teaching far too high for a mere mortal to get on, and he levitated and sat down on this high throne. So all the audience was getting a little embarrassed by thinking that he was some low-level student. And at this point, he's getting ready to leave the throne and go up into the sky. Those with the ability to follow him or with clairvoyance were able to hear the teaching. So there's really a big debate about whether there was even a 10th chapter. There was, and we're going to be studying it. The whole purpose of the 18 courses was to get us aware of the concept of emptiness, the importance of having the direct perception of emptiness, and how to go about it. As Geshe Michael has said more than once for himself, it's the only truly meaningful experience they have had in their life. And now that's an interesting thing. Maybe I'll make it a homework question. Yeah, probably not. But spend a little time thinking, what are the most important experiences in your life? And really, you stop and think about it. For me, in order of appearance, the most important experiences in my life were meeting and marrying my lovely wife, meeting Geshe Michael, starting to teach, and then I really enjoy writing, and I was able to write several books that have been very important to the history of the several programs in the Air Force. And I'm very fortunate to have published a book that the Pentagon uses in designing one of their new systems. So I feel I've contributed to the welfare and the history of many things, and those are the meaningful experiences. So I challenge, not challenge you, I ask you to think, spend a little time over the next week, because we're not having class again until a week from today, since I'll be traveling. Spend a little time thinking about what's meaningful, and why is it meaningful. And there's no wrong answer. Well, there is a wrong answer if you don't think it was meaningful meeting me, but I'm kidding. That doesn't have to be on your list. Okay, next. Well, okay, we need to do the pen. Now I talked to my wife and I said, I'm going to ask one of my students to do the pen. So before you all turn off your cameras and say you have to go to the bathroom, let's have one of you do the pen. Who should I ask? Mariana, would you do the pen for us?
Okay, I can try.
Well, that's yeah. Don't worry about. It's good to hear for you to hear it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. So here I have, by coincidence, I have a pen on my table, which doesn't happen often. So what is this?
It's a pen.
We'll be answering. You will be answering. Okay, this is a pen. Okay. So now imagine a puppy enters a room, and what does it see? What is it to the puppy?
It's probably going to be a chew toy.
Right, because what can a puppy do with this thing?
Chew on it.
All right, exactly. And then let's imagine that I leave the room, you leave your room as well, and the puppy leaves. And this something is laying on the table. What is it then when there's nobody around?
Don't know.
I don't know either. So it's probably like what, nothing?
No, not nothing. That's the conundrum I continually fight, is what is it when I leave the room?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we say that it's a potential, right? It can
Right.
be anything. So then when a puppy re-enters the room and we all re-enter the room again, what is there on the table?
Depends who's looking at it.
Right, exactly. Okay. At this point, does this thing come at me or from me somehow?
Well, if each of the entities looking at it see something different, it would imply it's coming from them and not at us, but from us.
Exactly. Wow, you know this story.
I should teach.
Yeah, you answer all of it correctly. Okay. So what do we do next? So what decides, like, okay, so does it mean that I can close my eyes and just wish it to become something else then if it comes from me? Can I close my eyes and say that it's a diamond, and then I open my eyes again and there is the diamond?
Lydia, what do you think?
You're asking me, what do you think? I'm doing the story.
Oh, sorry.
So, let's try.
Go ahead, Lydia.
Yeah.
It was you was asking me. I think that Geshe
sorry.
Michael can do that, but we cannot.
Maybe he does that all the time and we just don't see it, right?
Yeah. Don't have the karma to see it. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
So okay,
Good.
so if that only wishing doesn't work, then
You have to have set the karma to have that happen. Well, very good. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, the conundrum I have, and we get to this later in class, Well, I'll wait till we get to it. So we'll go through the steps again. It's a pen. It has an ink cartridge. Now, one of the favorite things I do what is this? It's a pen. No, it isn't. It's a pointer. I just broke Mike's brain. So, anyway, I like doing that because we assume it's the point of doing this is we assume that because it's a cylindrical object and we're having this discussion, it's a pen, but it isn't a pen. Okay. Now look at it as a dog would. They have no idea the concept of a pen. What do they see? The same colors and shapes, what they identify as a chew toy. Now think of the pen as I do. Switch back and forth a couple of times. And we come to the conclusion the identity of the cylindrical object depends on the mind of the being perceiving it. It has the potential of being anything. What do you think? Not quite. That's a pen to me or a chew toy to a dog is dependent upon the being in question's karma. It's really that simple. But and the reason we don't immediately adopt this, or that I don't immediately fasten onto this and have made great progress is I'm ripening thousands and thousands of lives worth of thinking it's self-existent. So I've got to ripen a lot of lives before I can get the right idea. So all this comes down to the emptiness of the pen. So I call it my karma ripens and then I see it. When I see a pen, my karma is ripened to have projections of shapes and... Now, this is important. This sequence is my opinion. You know, my wife and I have had long discussions about this, and we still haven't quite figured it out. When I see a pen, my karma has ripened to have projections of shapes and colors. A luminous picture in my mind of a pen is then projected or draped onto these colors and shapes, and that results in my perceiving the pen. My question is and remains, and I've asked Geshe Michael this, and he gave me an answer, which I'm trying to process, is the data, the color and shape that I perceive as pen, the color and shapes are also karma. They have to be karma. Otherwise they'd be self-existent, which we know is not possible. So my question remains, is there a, and this is just, these are questions I have. This is not scriptural. This is just my meager brain trying to figure this out. Now there are two things too. I can try and figure this out or I can just let it go. And sometimes you just have to let it go until you have a further training and can make sense of it. So there are colors and shapes. I have the karma to project colors and shapes out there. My eyeball sees the color and shape and transmits that to my brain. And my mind drapes this luminous picture, as Geshe Michael calls it, on the data and creates pen. I just can't get in my brain how I project the data, how the dog projects data, and the baby or whatever. I'm trying to figure out how they all are looking, are they all looking at the same data? Well, that would again imply the data's out there coming at us. So somehow we're sharing this, and this is where I can't figure it out. So this is where I say, okay, fine. I don't understand that part. I will sometime in the future. What's important here is that I realize it's going this way and not this way. And when I realize it's going this way, I can do something about it. Okay. In his discussion in another class, he said that if I think the colors and shapes that I turn into a pen are, how do you put it, are there in the room before I am, then that's a lower understanding of emptiness. If the colors and shapes are in the room at the same time I am, that's the higher training. So I'm trying to figure that out. And if any of you have, it's brilliant and obvious to you, email me and share it so I'm not embarrassed over class. I'm kidding. Okay. If it were true that the pen is self-existent, everybody would have to feel it, so have to see it that way. Let's see it as a pen. Now, a question I have here is, maybe a dog would see it as a pen and go, pen. Yeah, it's a pen, but for me, I chew on it. I don't like writing with it. See, we have to be kind of careful with some of the analogies or thoughts we put out. Furthermore, because it doesn't depend on anything else, it would always be the same, which means we could not write with it, which means the dog could not chew on it, because that would change the pen, and the pen's self-existent because it's out there coming independent of our karma. So it would be different than a minute before, depending on the amount of ink to be defined as a pen. So it's silly to say the pen is self-existent. It can't be. And we have to really have, at least at the beginning, really understand that. And then constantly through the day, relate that fact to what's going on in your day. So what's a good example for me? I've been trying to convince my wife to get a new computer. Her computer is a Windows 10 computer from 2015, a 10-year-old computer. I've gotten her a Windows 11, larger screen. Now I get to train her in Windows 11. I'm not really, I'm looking forward to it, but it's going to be painful because her favorite phrase is, that dumb computer. Well, it's not the computer. But after 50 years of marriage, you don't say that to your wife. Okay. So as I say, so I see the computer as a wonderful tool, and she sees it as a burden to get used to a new operating system and work from that. So what I see is as a joyful thing, she sees more as a complication in her life. So it's coming from seeing the same thing, but having a different interpretation. It appears that it's coming from it to her, and it to me. But since I have a different opinion about it than she does, that's not coming from the computer, because if it was, we'd both have the same opinion. So, some people wanted to have her get a Mac, and I strongly suggested she not do that. Okay, so it depends on its parts, it depends on its causes, Mostly it depends for its identity, use, and all other characteristics on the mind of the being perceiving it. Does that mean there's no pen? No, it writes. So what does all this mean? It means it doesn't have to be a pen. It can be a chew toy for a dog. It can be an object to give you total bliss if you're a Buddha. What your mind makes out of the sensory data is a result of your ripening karma. The key here, your ripening karma. I can wish all I want that it be a stick of diamond. And there will be a day in my future as a Buddha that I could have that happen. But right now, wishing isn't the solution. It's doing the things necessary to make it a stick of diamond. So I ask again, what does this all mean? The empty nature of everything, the potential for everything, means you can choose your reaction to a specific event to make the karma for that, for your eventual Buddhahood. I like the word potential. The trouble with English language is there's really nothing that translates the power, the concept of emptiness from what Geshe Michael's told us as he translates so much. Potential to me means, well, the opportunity for it to be anything. And then it depends on my karma. So if I set my karma properly, it can be, well, the stick of diamond. It could be the winning a lottery ticket to $1 billion. But you have to have the karma for it. So a definition of emptiness. Who wants to take a shot at a definition of emptiness? Mike?
Oh, God. All right. Emptiness is the absence of something being anything that, hold on. It's the absence of of something, an absence of something that could be anything other than the result of our past karma.
Okay. I'm looking for a slightly different. What is the power of seeing emptiness directly?
The power of seeing emptiness directly is to see the illusion firsthand and to know that the only thing that I experience is the result of my actions and not that something is coming from itself. So to see emptiness directly permanently injures the misunderstanding in my own mind that says that the world is coming from itself and not from me.
Okay, let's have Svetlana. What do you think?
It destroys our negative emotions, like ultimate nature of things.
Okay, okay. Well, let's take a look. That object which is such, and this is, I don't like the wording, but this is the definition, which is such that if you realize it directly, allows you to finish off all your impurities. So what I was getting at was, when you see emptiness directly, that leads you on the road to nirvana, which leads you on the road, if you have bodhicitta in your heart, leads you on the road to total Buddhahood, total enlightenment. Now, here the object refers to emptiness, or its ultimate. Another word for emptiness is ultimate reality, which can only be perceived in a deep state of meditation, the result of a lot of training. It's a higher, separate reality from ours, but doing so gives you what you need to dramatically reduce your suffering and identify and forego your mental afflictions. So how does it do that? How does seeing emptiness directly cause this precipitous change in your life? Now, having not seen it myself personally, I can only relate what Geshe has told us. The key is, to me, it illustrates, drives home to my thick brain the fact that everything is coming from my karma, period. There's no, it's my karma, but it's my karma, so. And as I constantly think of this throughout the day, I find myself thinking, oh, wait a minute, that's coming from, no, it isn't coming from. It's my karma ripening to see it. What am I going to do about it? Am I going to react stupidly, or am I going to react with wisdom? And I think it's too easy to punish ourselves thinking we'll react. Oh, there I go again, reacting without wisdom. As I said earlier today, we've had, speaking for myself, I've had thousands of millions of lifetimes of thinking things are self-existent. Now, having seen emptiness directly, in my back of my mind now, I have this meager concept, and I use it. I don't fight with it. I keep it in mind and apply it to each situation as it comes up. But initially, it seems to me to be self-existent. And then I go, no, it isn't, and it's my karma, and then I proceed from there. When you see emptiness directly, that initial thinking seeing it as self-existent is gone. You still have the karma to ripen to see it, but you know, you don't just think it, you know it's not self-existent. So that brings up another part of our teaching that I don't struggle with, but I wonder about. Well, I don't think that's even right. Who give me a definition of what karma is?
Karma is a movement of the mind, and what it motivates speech and actions.
Very good. Now, having said that, if you've taken Bodhisattva vows, and you get mad at yourself, are you destroying your root of virtue?
I think I cannot be mad on myself because I'm a Bodhisattva.
Well, tell me that when I'm trying to open a Ziploc bag. You don't realize how annoying Ziploc bags are until you have Parkinson and you can't open a damn Ziploc bag. But so I looked into this, getting if I'm a Bodhisattva and I get mad at myself, do I destroy my root of virtue? And I looked into it and I found a paper. I'll try and remember to share that with all of you. Let me write this down. And basically the paper said, it looked at Dzongkhapa's teachings, the thinking on this. And Dzongkapa basically said, it's going to take a lot of anger, because if it took just a little bit of anger, no one would get enlightened, because their root of virtue would continually be destroyed. So it takes really getting mad. I mean, just, I don't know how mad that is, but not the kind of mad most of us get. So what's the solution to stopping that from happening besides not getting mad? What do you do after every deed, good deed? What's the important thing to do? Dedicate. If you dedicate that good deed, to your future enlightenment, then that puts the force field around it, and you can't have, nothing can damage it. Now, I've been trying to find out how that really works. And I have these questions, and most of these questions, I come up against this, Sumati, you don't have to understand the details. Just get with the program. It doesn't stop me from looking, however, because that's part of the fun for me. So, you have seen emptiness directly. What's the name for someone who's seen emptiness directly in Sanskrit?
Ария?
Arya, right? What's the name in Tibetan?
I don't remember.
Mike?
Akpa.
Very good. Okay. And what's the name for someone who reaches nirvana in Sanskrit?
Arhat.
Right. I don't know what it is in Tibetan. Do you know what it is in Tibetan? Arhat? Okay. Anyway.
Akpa.
So as Geshe Michael says, you'll still have jealousy or a bad day. It takes time to occur, but these changes are triggered by making contact with ultimate reality with your mind for about 20 minutes. And typically it takes 7 more lifetimes to reach your Buddhahood. In theory, by practicing the secret teachings, you can do it in 1 lifetime. And that's why Geshe is so hyper fascinated on getting as many people into the tantric practices as he can. After the direct perception of emptiness, you become a stream enter, and as Geshe Michael likes to put it, you're on a conveyor belt out of samsara. How does it work? We go from the way we look at our world now as me and my parts and my possessions, thinking me and my parts exist independent of my projections, as if they have an existence of their own. Out there, whether I'm thinking of them or perceiving them, thinking that things have a nature of their own and the identity that comes from them, not from my mind, conceptualizing them. This is false, and this is called the view of destruction. The view of destruction is what we call deceptive reality. It focuses on me and mine and the feeling that they exist independent of my perception, not in dependence on them. And that's another confusing part of the English language. When I say independent, I could be saying independence, but just not being careful about it. It's called the view of destruction because with wisdom you destroy this view of things existing from their own side. The wheel of life exemplifies this concept. It's a depiction of samsara. The first the first link in the wheel of life is the blind man representing our misconception of self-existence. If we can destroy the first link, we destroy the entire cycle. If you destroy any link in the wheel of life, you destroy the wheel of life. You destroy samsara. So we're focusing on that first link. If we can stop seeing things ignorantly, we'll react with wisdom, and we'll put the wheel of life out of business. And we'll put samsara out of business. We could call it the wheel of dependent origination or as Geshe likes to rename things. And it's driving me nuts. The wheel of dependent events. Well, what's wrong with the wheel of dependent anyway? I'm not doubting my Lama. I'm just having some fun. So our attraction to anything, our dislike of anything, feeling good or bad, comes from our view of seeing things as good or bad from their own side. And we keep emphasizing this, but throughout the day, we're making decisions, we're reacting. And we just have to react with wisdom. We have to. We are willing to hurt someone or do a non-virtue in order to get what we want or to avoid what we don't want. And this is a tough, now, how can I put it? We're kind of doomed now because we have this information that we have to live by. And that means everything we do has to be judged on whether it's karmically the right thing to do. And for instance, I have, despite there being a note in the front of most books, you can't photocopy this without permission from the publisher. Many people go ahead and scan the books. And one of my best-selling book, which is a misnomer, not that many people have bought it, has been scanned and put on a website called ScribeD. So people don't have to buy my book. They can just buy the PDF download. I've talked to publishers of several books that I've scanned with their permission. And I can give you the scan. I can give Svetlana the scan, the PDF compiled scan of Liberation Thrust into the Palm of Your Hand, because she owns a copy of it. The authors, the publisher, have got their, what's the term? We paid for the book. Now, if I give a copy of a PDF of that to someone who doesn't physically own the book, then that's wrong. That's karmically a very stupid thing to do. So, if you own a copy of it and you want the PDF, you have to prove to me you own a copy. You have to show me the physical volumes. Now, you could say, well, don't you trust them to say they have it if they say they have it if they don't? Well, I don't want the person to get the karma for asking for something they shouldn't ask for, believing I'm naive enough to give it to them. So I hope you don't feel insulted when I say if you want one of these scans, I need to show proof that you have it. So the attractiveness unattractiveness, the errors that you see in this text are due to voice recognition. I haven't got this thing trained properly. I keep railing against AI, but voice recognition software is AI. It just doesn't have the name attached to it. Anyway, it's nothing but my mind's projections forced by my ripening karma. Once you understand this, you no longer be willing to do a harmful deed because you know the result is going to be unpleasant. So truly understanding my world, how my world really exists, as karma ripening and nothing else, comes from the direct perception of emptiness, then I could set about behaving in ways that will force my mind to create the paradise in my future. Being kind, being appreciative, like seeing everyone and anything in my world as reflections of my past behavior, whether I see happy or unhappy people is dependent upon my past behavior. So, without politicizing it too much, I do not like the unrest and conflict I see in this country. And my initial thought is to blame President Trump. Well, where's President Trump coming from? Coming from my karma. How am I going to change that? By saying nasty things about President Trump? No. By going to protests, by discussing with others what they see as wrong and how can we fix it. I was the driver to I don't drive anymore, the driver to my medical appointment said, what can I as an individual do besides vote? And it depends on how deep you want to get into it. My brother is an active Democrat. He calls to various states to help get the vote out. That's an active and very positive thing to do. We go to the protests. For ourselves, karmically, we try when we discuss President Trump, which isn't often, we try and think of ways of what he could do to mitigate the problems he's having and not end up with a tremendous amount of terrible karma he's generating. There's one good thing that President Trump did, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I can't believe I'm saying it, but he brought to the forefront the fact that our political system is broken. Whether I like to admit it or not, I used to be a Democrat, then I changed to be a Republican, and then a good friend of mine said, how can you be a Republican if President Trump's a Republican? And that was an interesting point, so I changed to independent. So now I feel better. So, where was I going with this? Oh, he brought to the forefront that our system is broken. And the question I have in my mind, I'm hoping it has set the karma so I don't see the Democrats do the same thing when they get into power. Because if they do, they are just as wrong as Trump is. So I need to redouble my efforts to do things morally correct, to help as many other people as I can, to rejoice in my deed and others' deeds, and to dedicate to protect my virtue. I'm a busy boy most days. Okay, the 7-step method for generating bodhicitta. Who wants to give me the 7-step method? Okay, Svetlana, go for it.
The 0-1 is understand that every living being is the same, they are equal to each other. The first step to realize that every living being has been our mother countless times because we were born before and someone was giving a birth to us, and any being can be our mother for countless times. The second step is to admit all the kindness that they gave to us, that they give us birth and they helped us to keep alive when we were without any strength to support ourselves. Then the third one is a wish to make them happy. It's like love to the single child we have. We want to give them all the best that even could be imagined. And the fourth one is to protect them from any Oh, I was mistaken. I missed the third. The third one is to repay the kindness of our mothers. Yes, because if we do not repaying kindness to those people who were kind to us, it's like an evil, and it's on our shoulders to repay that kindness, because it's our mother who took care about us, and we ourselves should take care of our mothers. The fourth one is love, to give them all the best that can be done. And the fifth one is compassion. It's protection from every kind of suffering. And the sixth one is like Hlaksam Namdak. Even if no one help me, if everyone will be against me, I will do it myself, whatever it costs me. It's like total personal responsibility to make it happen. And the seventh one is bodhicitta, the wish to become enlightened. I want to reach Buddhahood because in this state I can help all my mothers, all living beings in an ultimate sense to achieve their total Buddhahood as well.
Very good, very good. What's the difference between love and compassion? It's on the screen, but think about it. And why? What's the order of love and compassion? I use the example of my wife's headaches. She gets terrible migraine headaches, and I know she likes ice cream. So I could give her ice cream and try and make her happy, but giving her ice cream isn't what's going to make her happy. Taking away I'm sorry, I've got this reversed. My compassion, taking away her suffering, has to come first. It's quite often when we as caregivers or we are trying to help somebody, we try and make them happy when what we really need to do is take away their suffering. So to me, in any situation, I need to quickly evaluate what the difference between love and compassion for this individual, and then work on that. So I make this hot compress for her. If you microwave a bean bag of navy beans or any bean, they retain the heat, and it's like a water bottle, but it's not as messy. Then when her headache's over, we can have a bowl of ice cream or whatever she wants. But if I give her the bowl of ice cream while she's got a migraine, she's going to just throw it up. So that's not helping out any. And it's a waste of ice. Oh, I didn't say that. So it's very important to be aware of the situation. The feeling of wanting to help, no one will help me, but I'll do it anyway. I was very fortunate to be the operations manager. It's funny, I was initially going to be the operations director, but people got upset with that as a title, so they said I could be operations manager at Diamond Mountain. So whatever. I was involved in running Diamond Mountain for many years, which was one of the, I talked about in time. I talked about marrying my lovely wife, meeting Geshe Michael, and I think the third one would be, above writing my books, would be having the opportunity to serve my Lama in such a wonderful way. A lot of times serving your Lama means doing something you don't particularly want to do. And I couldn't get up early enough and stay up late enough building Diamond Mountain. That was, well, from we moved there in what, 2002 or 3 time frame, and we're there until 3 retreats started. So that was 7 years, 8 years of just having a blast. And we weren't paid a cent in money, but we were paid with Geshe-la's and Lama Christie's incredible teachings. And believe me, Diamond Mountain was a great place to practice the Dharma. If you doubt that, just ask anybody who was there during the reign of terror as me as operations manager and the shoes for the temple. I won't bore you all with that story again, but okay. Train yourself in the how and why. So, I use Parkinson's as my example because it's so near and dear to my heart. How I got Parkinson's? It's likely due to all the exotic organic chemicals I used, solvents I used in my years of research as a plant biochemist. That did something to my DNA or my cells and made them go south on me, and now I have Parkinson's. If that were truly the source of Parkinson's, any and everybody who used those chemicals would have Parkinson's. Any and everybody in my organic chemistry class at University of California, Riverside would have Parkinson's. They don't. So it couldn't have come from the chemicals. The why I have Parkinson's is because I inconvenienced people in the past. That's Parkinson's to me is just a gross inconvenience to me and the people who have to help me get in and out of cars and stuff like that. The why is because of my massive inconveniencing of others, ignoring others' needs. So now I attend to getting people's needs satisfied as quickly as I can for the subjects I can work on. Information, someone wants something from me that I might have in my Dharma collection, boom, I look for it and I get it for them. I don't say, well, yeah, when I get around to it. And another reason I do that is in writing my books, I wanted to get information from various archives. And the usual response from an archive is, get in line, it's going to take months. So I said, how can I speed that process up karmically? Now, whether it be in this life or the next is irrelevant to me. What's relevant is what do I need to do to set the karmic seed to get what I want? Well, as I just said, if someone asks me for information, I quickly give it and dedicate it toward the future, my future life of getting the information I need. And this ripened. So you say, well, Sumati, that's going to be 10 lifetimes from now. Well, I can attest to at least one incredible example of that not being the case. I was trying to figure out how to get a copy of something called Project Defender. And I knew where a copy existed, but I didn't look into it because I knew it was going to take forever and I didn't want to have that burden on my mind. But one day I said, try looking it up. Try and get a copy. So I contacted a contact at the National Archives in Washington, and I asked him where to look for it, how to look for it. And he said, well, my name is actually David. He said, David, let me look. So I did it a couple of times. He said, yes, we have a copy of it. Let me go look in the archive. Apparently the archive was close to him. So he went and looked and said, yep, we have it. That's the good news. The bad news is it's not in the boxes. There are slips saying where it is. So, want me to go look for it? And I said, sure. He called me back and said, found it. I said, well, they're probably highly classified. And he said, well, if you look at the markings on them, I think we can take care of that. So he went down to he said, I'm going to go talk to my classification specialist. So he did and came back and he said, you're in luck. They're declassified as of now. And So the how that happened is I had someone to know where to look for them. The why it happened was because I'd been I'd been getting people's information for them as quickly as possible and dedicating it. So that's just a very, now it's trivial in terms of the bigger picture things. I could have asked for world peace and not have any war. I agree, but I'm new at this, so I'm going for the stuff that is a little simpler. There was another example that was equally mind-boggling. But that's my example of karma and doing unto others what you would have them do for you. Okay, the how and the why. The past is your present, the present is your future. I thought I was pretty clever and had come up with this, but I was looking back through Geshe-la's teachings and he did it. He said it. That's probably where I picked it up. But the past, your past is what's ripening now. It's your present. And your future is your present, and that now I'm doing the deeds that are going to ripen in my future. I don't know what's going to ripen next. We have this, who can give me the 3 sufferings? The list of 3 sufferings.
It's suffering, suffering of change, and pervasive suffering.
Right, very good. Now, suffering of suffering is pretty obvious. Ow. Suffering of change is we have ice cream and it's gone. My life isn't built around ice cream. It's built around my lovely wife and then ice cream. It's built around my students. Anyway, I digressed and forgot what I was saying. Oh, 3 sufferings. So suffering of pervasive suffering is usually taught as the fact that we're dying the minute we're born. I like to add a different pervasive suffering. I don't know what karma is going to ripen next. Now I can obsess about that and stay in bed on my bed with the sheets pulled over my head, eating M&Ms or having a bowl of ice cream. Or I can say, bring it on. I'm ready. I'm ready to respond to whatever's coming because I know where it came from and I know where I don't want to go. That to me that's wonderful. That's like, damn, this is just, bring it on. I don't care I have Parkinson's. Well, I do care, but you're attacking the world and letting the world attack you. I really encourage that. But I'm lucky I have a lovely wife. I'm retired. I'm in a teaching. What more could I ask for? So, the way to get wealthy is to save money. It's not that you shouldn't save money. It's understanding why saving money brings you wealth. It does bring you wealth. But it's because of what you've done in the past, not the fact that you're mundane fast, you're saving money. Does that work for everyone? No. How about when people lose money when a bank fails or an investment company goes under? The way to gain wealth is to be generous with your money, giving to worthy organizations, giving to people on the street. And I maintain, this is from me, I maintain the way to gain wealth is to be generous with your money, your time. Be generous. It doesn't have to be. I think it's too easy to focus on wealth generous with money. Be generous, period. Generosity covers so many things. Well, I have some examples of my generosity, but it would be bragging to talk about them, so I'm not going to. What's an example? Oh, I know. My generosity is sweating over the water system at Diamond Mountain. That was an incredible amount of work. And Geshe pointed it out to me one day before retreat. He said, you are getting your generosity with the water system. Every time someone takes a drink of water, you're getting good karma from that. And when I stop and think about the hundreds of people that have been at the Diamond Mountain and the hundreds more once I'm gone, that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Okay, Master Shantideva starts chapter 9. All of these practices were taught by the Mighty One for the sake of wisdom. Therefore, those who wish to pacify suffering should generate this wisdom. The previous chapters were all about practicing the 6 perfections. He gave debates and arguments and practices suggesting on how to increase your generosity, how to grow morality, not get angry, etc. In chapter 9, he's now saying that none of this stuff will really work to end your suffering until you have the direct perception of emptiness. So in this chapter, we're going to help us understand wisdom intellectually better and better so you can eventually reach the direct perception of emptiness. Now, we talk about the 6 perfections. I don't know about you, you could all be Buddhas. I can't perfect the 6 perfections until I become a Buddha. But I can work very hard with the 6 perfections and gain the karma that comes with that. And that will get me to the realization of emptiness. The commentary gives 3 reasons why, or the explanation for why the first 5 perfections are not necessary for the realization of emptiness. You don't have to practice the prior 5 perfections like a Bodhisattva in order to learn about and gain an intellectual understanding of emptiness. It's not that don't bother, you don't have to. It's work hard at perfecting them, and you'll have the direct perception of emptiness. And you have an intellectual understanding. That's the key here. Intellectual understanding, not the direct perception. His reason is you don't have to do the first 5 perfection to see emptiness, because you can just listen to someone talk about it, and that's a form of seeing it. It's not a direct perception, however. It requires extensive virtue just to hear about emptiness, but it doesn't require the complete perfection of the first 5 perfections to have the direct perception. To have a profound intellectual understanding and deep conviction about the truth of emptiness, you don't have to perfectly practice the first 5 perfections. This is still not referring to a direct perception. And what is he saying here? This is key. He's saying here, you don't have to perfectly practice. Keyword, practice the prior 5 perfections. He's not saying, since you don't have to do them perfectly, you don't have to do them. He's not saying that. He's saying, you can't do them perfectly until you're a Buddha, but you can get pretty darn close, and that's what's going to get you to the direct perception of emptiness. Listeners and self-made Buddhas. Next class, we're going to discuss a breakdown of this. I should have done it in this class, but I didn't. 2 kinds of Hinayana practitioners who don't practice the perfections. They do perceive emptiness directly, so that even they can have this special insight. But that gets them to nirvana. That doesn't get them totally enlightened. Their idea of enlightenment is nirvana, the complete cessation of mental afflictions. Master Shantideva says, all these come before for the sake of wisdom. The wisdom that these two lines of chapter 10 refer to is the omniscience of a Buddha. It's the ability to see all things of the past, present, and future simultaneously. Every mind has the ability to do this, but there is something blocking that ability. There is an obstacle to omniscience, which practicing the first 5 perfections removes and leads to a state of omniscience, once you've seen emptiness directly. This obstacle to omniscience requires mountains of merit, a great number of good deeds to overcome, which are accumulated by practicing the first 5 perfections. Guided Bodhisattva's way of life is about how to reach total enlightenment. What's the difference between nirvana and total enlightenment? Mike?
Nirvana is the total elimination of all of your mental afflictions, and in total enlightenment, you get omniscience. So I guess omniscience would be the difference between nirvana and total enlightenment for the benefit of all beings.
Right.
And all
Reaching.
the Buddha bodies as well, right? The rest of them too. I mean, the emanations and stuff. Not only the emanations, I guess.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first part of what you said.
Yeah, that not only omniscience differentiates nirvana from total enlightenment, but also the other bodies
Right,
as
the
well.
ability to
The
emanate, per se, yeah.
paradise and stuff. Hopefully.
Well, I early in my career with the foundation courses, I kept coming across this total enlightenment and enlightenment, and they were used simultaneously, as was bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the wish to become a Buddha. Mahayana bodhicitta is the wish to become a Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. So you have to have bodhicitta, Mahayana bodhicitta, if you want to reach total enlightenment. If you just want to be a Buddha, then you define Buddhahood, which for the self-made Buddhas and the listeners is nirvana. And from what I understand from Geshe-la's teachings, you reach nirvana and you're cooking away, you're happy, not having mental afflictions. And there's a voice in the sky that says, you can do better. And you go back and you become a bodhisattva. A Buddha has omniscience, seeing everything, every thought, present, past, present, and future. This is the wisdom that knows what each and every sentient being really wants and needs in order to have their own paradise. Deceptive truth, reality, is a view that things appear to exist self-existently, independent of my projections. It's called deceptive because it appears to be true to the mind that is deceived by it. It is a reality of mistaken perceptions. It's a world of illusions. We're going to get into what illusions are later in the classes, but an illusion is a misleading image or perception that distorts reality, often causing one to believe something is true when it is not. It can occur with any of the senses, but visual illusions are the most commonly recognized. Now, I have not been able to taste or smell pretty much anything for the last 5 or 6 years. I can sense sweet, sour, salty, spicy, but not the individual spices. So I have well, what's it? Not visual. Olfactory hallucinations or illusions. I did have something that happened just like this last winter. I found myself being able to smell smoke. And I think that's deep inside the psyche of a human is fire is danger. So I think that's I can now smell smoke. I can almost taste things. Cucumbers I never particularly cared for, but they have, that's a phrase my mom used to. I don't particularly care for that. That drives my wife nuts when I say that. I can almost taste cucumbers. There's probably 15 or 20 components to the odor and taste of cucumbers. And I can sense like some of them, but the main one that defines cucumber I can't sense. So it's very weird. I eat a cucumber and I go, I still can't taste it. But cucumbers make the difference in a sandwich for me. And it's a nice crunch to it. So texture is something I enjoy in a meal. Thank goodness I can still taste sweet. That makes eating M&Ms much more fun. A mirage is an example of an illusion, but be careful with this example because it can lead you to believe that something is there is not there when it really is, just not the way we think. I had an unusual experience at Diamond Mountain. I was driving to, how many people here have been to Diamond Mountain? Raise your hand. Oh, great. Okay. Well, we'll get everybody there one of these days. Driving between Wilcox and Bowie in my truck on the highway one morning, I was driving at the interface between the inversion layer that was causing a mirage. So I'd pop in and out of the mirage as I was going on the freeway. And it was eerie to see a mountain range flip over and turn upside down and then flip back. That was the direct perception of a mirage. It's what we do because of the illusion that's important. Robbing a bank appears to be the cause of wealth, but it's an illusion because generosity in the past is what generates wealth. Stealing results in not having enough to live on in the future. The how and the why. Robbing a bank can make you rich or get you to jail. How can one action have two possible outcomes? How you physically got the money was by robbing the bank. Why it made you wealthy is due to generosity in the past. Why you got caught? Because you abused someone's generosity in the past. Ultimate reality, ultimate truth, the emptiness of any object. Each object in the universe has its own emptiness, its own ultimate reality. So are there really two great divisions of truth? No, there are two realities, but only one contains ultimate truth. Deceptive truth just appears true to the mistaken state of mind. Just appears true to the mistaken state of mind. All of existence, all reality is divided into a higher reality and lower reality. Every object possesses both realities. Deceptive truth appears to be self-existent. Ultimate truth depends on your karma. We have been in deceptive reality forever. Until we have the direct perception of emptiness, we have never had a correct perception ever. We have valid perceptions all the time, but not a correct one. After direct perception of emptiness, you go back to seeing things incorrectly, but you know you're doing it. That's what the path of habituation. Who can give me the 5 paths? Well, Mike,
Accumulation, preparation.
What are you accumulating?
You're accumulating moments of renunciation.
Perfect. Great. Okay, go ahead.
The path of preparation, you're preparing to see emptiness. The path of seeing, the actual perception of emptiness itself. Then the path of habituation, you're getting used to what you saw. And then the path of no more learning.
Right. Very good. Very good. I love lists. You guys haven't been hit with my lists yet. I have to do something about that. You eliminate 3 mental afflictions immediately after direct perception of emptiness. Doubting the path, belief in self-existence, and thinking the practices of harming body and mind could ever bring you spiritual progress. Emptiness is nothing but black space. I'm kidding. Okay. Well, we took an hour and a half. Good for us. Okay. Like I said, we won't have class on Monday because I'll be traveling. We'll have class again on Thursday. Let's see, which dedication do I want to use? I have a list here of the dedication prayers I used in 3-year retreat. I won't read them all, but I have a couple of favorite ones. I'd like to dedicate the good, incredibly good karma to be able to teach you this material so that it may help me reach the enlightened state of Guru Buddha for the benefit of all living beings. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, spread and expand. May the beings upholding the Dharma have excellent health. May the source of benefit and goodness, the Dharma, always increase. May my life and my effort to teach be for the benefit of all living beings without exception. Oh, I have one more that I particularly like. By the pureness of the power of my intentions, by the power of the blessings of those gone thus, by the power of the realm of emptiness, may all the goals that I may have and all my wishes, whatever they may be, come true with perfect ease. In all my lives may I never live apart from my perfect lamas. May I bask in the glory of the Dharma. May I fulfill perfectly every level and path and reach then quickly the place where I become myself, the one who holds the diamond. Thank you for the opportunity to teach you all this. I look forward to seeing everybody on Thursday, and have a great Easter weekend. I'm going to have to hope my host in Tennessee is going to have an Easter egg hunt. In fact, I'm going to email him and make sure I'm going to do that. That'll be fun. Okay.
Thank you, Holy Lama, for your teaching. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for staying. Thank you, Shinar, for doing the translation.
Be Lama, please stay and be absolutely healthy.
Well, I'm working on it. Okay. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.